Hey, good afternoon, Justice Warriors. Let's see, how is the lighting? I changed things a little bit. So let me make sure that it's all working okay. I want to get this cool little green globe into the picture. There we go. Just barely. We'll just leave it like that. Good enough. Okay, we want to get into business. We don't care about the set and the design and the hair and the makeup and all that crap. Oh my goodness, you guys, good afternoon. I have so much information for you. I can't freaking believe it. I don't even know where to start. And I can't go over like 45 minutes. That's why I moved the clock up to 1:15 instead of 1:30. But then I didn't want to throw people off too far that were expecting me at 1:30. So I tried to make it right in the middle there. I guess I could have put like a middle time, but it gives you options that are like every 15 minutes. So I just hit the 1:15 instead of the 1:30. My apologies. To be early instead of late. No, but then I was still late because I said 1:15. Anyway, let's get on with it, baby. Everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, hoping to learn something, improve my quality of life, improve quality of life of people around that feel the same way. And I'm hoping that we can all learn together communally, not as a commune. We are not a commune. Um, and it is made specifically for YouTube, which, as we all know, it's an entertainment platform. So I really like to cover that in my spiel, my disclaimer. Just come on, Stonehenge is in the way to my parents. Oh, that's so cute. I thought you were saying it's in the way. It's on the way to your parents. Oh, yeah, I love that. So I was putting on the Stonehenge for a reason because it's still so mystical, like how it got there. Like, how did they do that? How did they defy gravity? And, we have our ideas, leveraging things and lots of people and, alien spaceships and whatever. You do what you got to do, right? Um, but this whole thing with the Idaho 4 is such a mystery. And what happened with Kylie Rodney is such a mystery. And what happened with Trinity Backus is such a mystery. So I want to stay focused. I want to cover all 6 of these victims. And I even want to cover a little bit more without losing focus, you guys, because it ties in with corrupt police department. We've been mentioning a bit here and there about the 5 police officers in Memphis who proved themselves a danger to society, and they were relieved of their services, correct? Did you hear that there was a 6th one a couple hours ago, also relieved of his services? And I checked right away. I was like, is this guy black or white? Why did they wait for the 6th one? So he just happens to be white. I don't want to read anything into that yet. And if they were doing that deliberately to try to prevent violence over the weekend, then good job, because they did successfully not have violence over the weekend that I've heard about anyway. I don't know if you guys have heard anything different. So there was a white guy involved. Atrocious. And his name, the atrocious one's name, is Preston Hempful. The only thing that I find uplifting about that is that they're not just holding the African American ones accountable. They're holding one that's not black accountable too. Everybody needs to be held accountable. Everybody who has any involvement. So I'm going to try to stick to my notes mostly, you guys, just to warn you. Please chat away, but just realize that you're probably mostly chatting with each other for this one, because I just love reading your chats, and then I can't get to my notes, and then I go way over an hour. So I have to keep this one. I need to be completely finished by, I guess, like 10 after. So another 40 minutes. So that's not too short. That's not too shabby. Anyway, I have my list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost the top 10 reasons that these things have similarities. Do you want me to start there? Or let me just briefly kind of brush over the rest of the stuff I want to cover, but I don't want to say that I'm going to cover something and then forget to. I hate that. It happens. It does. So earlier in my last video today, I mentioned a movie, like I think I said Midnight Train. Midnight Express is the movie. I was close, so close. But another movie that's even better about that same type of idea of authorities infiltrating into drug dealing rings and getting caught up in it and losing their bearings. Another one was Rush, if you guys remember that. That was like Jason Patrick and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and it was done very, very well. So there's a lot more to cover, but let me stay focused with our top 9 things that these cases all have in common. So all cases meaning Idaho 4, Kylie Rodney, and Trinity Backus. Okay, we have a lot of secrecy with all these cases, right? We have parents in all 3 of these situations, with drug dealings. We have people, the victims deceased, and yet nobody else was endangered. No one else was hurt or missing. So that's especially suspicious with the Idaho 4 since there were 2 19-year-old girls in the house, right? But I find it suspicious with Trinity Backus because her friend Hannah was with her, not to mention fake Auntie Ashley, suspect number 1's boyfriend, and the roommates and whoever else. And then, as we know in Kylie Rodney's case, Mags wasn't endangered, Kate wasn't endangered, Sammy wasn't endangered. None of them was endangered. Just Kylie was dead, right? Unalive. So another similarity, these are like kind of brand new to me because I finally took my notes out and went over them right before coming on. And I'm like, what? I got to get turned on here. The boyfriends who were not there. So with Kylie, it was her ex-boyfriend Jagger who allegedly wasn't there, and her maybe ex-boyfriend Nate Hambrick who wasn't there. And then with Trinity, allegedly her boyfriend Francis, whatever his name is, I don't think we need to state the whole thing anyway. The mom Summer and the son Francis, who had the girlfriend Paisley that was deceased almost exactly a year before Trinity. So Francis wasn't there allegedly with Trinity. So they say. There were a lot of boyfriends who were nowhere near the scene of 1122 King Drive on the early morning of November 13th, 2022. So Maddie's boyfriend wasn't around, Jake. I don't know what he was up to that night, but I find it odd. Saturday night is usually your hooking up night in college. Come on, people, let's just get real, right? Come on. Whether you're single or in a relationship, Saturday night is the night, the most likely night. Anyway, so, with Kaylee coming back into town to show her vehicle to Maddie, don't you think her recently ex-boyfriend that was still on positive terms with her would have wanted to like get busy, right? That's how those things work, you guys. Come on, we all know this. We're all adults here. We better be. Anyway, you better not be watching if you're not. Okay, so those 2 boyfriends weren't around. I'm not throwing any shade in the direction of Jake. I'm just not, because that man seems as innocent as they come, in my humble opinion. But then we also have Dylan has a boyfriend who allegedly lives 5 hours away and has never come closer than 5 hours to the town of Moscow. And then Bethany maybe is the only one without a boyfriend. And then, as we all know, Xana's boyfriend was there and killed, so unalived. Anyway, so the boyfriends, that's just number 4. So number 5, uh, substance abuse for all of them, right? All of them allegedly. Number 6, they're all extremely good looking, you guys. These people, all of these victims are incredibly attractive. Like way more attractive than usual, even for like movie stars or models. They're all extremely attractive. Trinity, Kylie, Ethan, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, they're all just gorgeous beyond measure. So that's one reason why it's in the spotlight of the media, but it's also another reason why people could be jealous of them. Jealousy factor. Think think that has nothing to do with it? I question. I just question. So their living situations in all of the three different Truckee, Nevada City, I think is the town where Trinity's was living at the time, or where that happened, and then Moscow. So living situations are all in a fluctuating process. We know with Kaylee, we know with Kylie, and Trinity, there's no address on her birth certificate. There's no mention of a relative, despite the fact that she's 16 years old. And I'm really curious what her living situation was. Was she really living with her mother and then having a slumber party at her fake aunt suspect's house? That's just weird. None of that adds up. Anyway, I wonder what the living situation was for Trinity and her mom and her little sister. I just wonder. Um, so why on earth she would go spend the night at Ashley's house when she's wanting to have a friend sleep over? I don't want to get too far into that. Anyway, just living situations are in fluctuation. Both of these cases, meaning Kylie's case and um, the Idaho 4, I'm trying to think if Trinity's tied in with this at all. I don't know that it did. But with Kylie and Idaho 4, both cases have a mystery mama making phone calls to the streets of YouTube speaking out, right? And both of those mamas just happen to have a daughter and a son. Just saying. And both of those mamas are saying all kinds of cray. All three cases, Trinity, Kylie, and Moscow, all of them had a delay in 911. All of them had major delays in 911. Kylie, there was no 911 call at the minimum for 9 hours, 10 hours, from 8 in the morning when her mom says she saw she wasn't home until she made that call, maybe 5 or 6 that night. But if there was a situation the night before where people knew she was in danger, then that would start the clock for the not calling the 911, in my humble opinion. Trinity, they delayed, I want to say it was just an hour. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the material again. I'm pretty sure there was a delay in Trinity's, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's just go with Kylie, and as we all know, an 8-hour delay with Moscow. So delays in the 911 calls. I'm pretty sure there was a delay in Trinity's. I'm pretty sure I remember that. Oh, I'm positive of it because I wrote it down in my list of things between the two. And then I was going through that list of things between those two young women to see what would come over into the Idaho case. So, yeah, I think that was number 9, the delay in the 911 call. And then I did come up with a number 10, which was the jealousy factor, that a lot of people were jealous of these people. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that. No, I don't have any proof. But I mean, Trinity was freaking gorgeous with her red hair and her green eyes. Do you know how rare that is? And she was tall and slender, and she was just pale skin, which some people don't like pale skin so much, like California, it's not the thing. But other people just love that porcelain pale skin. They just think it's so delicate and precious. Anyway, she was a very, very attractive young woman and 5'9", whereas Kylie, very attractive, 5'7". I said 5'8" yesterday in my video. I have heard other places that she was actually 5'8", but it's 5'7" is what I'm gonna stick with. Um, anyway, it's easy for people to get jealous of attractive, bright, talented individuals. So I think it's safe to say that all of these 6 victims are very attractive, very bright, and very talented. Trinity was a talented basketball player. She was also a talented artist. And as we all know, Kylie was an amazing musician. Um, you know, we've just got a lot of awesome skill sets with these young people, even though they were only 16, no, 16 for those two, and then 20 and 21 for the 2 sets of the other 2 of the 4, the Moscow 4. Anyway, phew, it is hard when you're talking about so many cases all at once. I'm going to read a few of these. Delays are so plans and explanations can be made to minimize blame and accountability or responsibility. Am I like psychic GOP Nick or what? Because I just like zoomed right in on that one. I had not even glanced at any others. I just had a feeling. And I didn't see that it was you. I just had a feeling. Anyway, maybe because it was 3 lines and there you go. We'll just go with that. No, I'm not psychic. I swear I'm not. Delays are so plans and explanations can be made to minimize blame and accountability or responsibility. Very good. And Trinity's scent vanished at the roadside outside her house like she got taken in a car. Right. And so the dog factor was consistent for her case and Kylie's case because they brought dogs down to the sanctuary and the dogs couldn't find her because she wasn't there. It wouldn't matter if she was under 14 feet of water or 20 feet of water. That wouldn't make them not know she's there. I think it's safe to say she was not there when the dogs were there. And yeah, those dogs know that Trinity's scent went to the street and that she got into a car. Okay, we'll just say it. We'll just say it. That's what the dogs know. Perhaps the dogs are misinformed, but never, never. The dogs know their business, okay? And obviously there's no dogs involved there's Murphy in the Idaho 4, but there's no like dog scent stuff going on. But yeah, there's always dogs involved and they always help. They really do. My mom would never settle till I was home and even called the police when I wasn't. I now, as a mother, even today, panicked because my 2 kids didn't come home in time, but all safe now. Yeah, yeah. I had one of my 18-year-old son didn't come home a few weeks ago on a Saturday night, and I was pretty freaked out in the morning. I was just like, no, no. And yeah, everything was fine. He said he just forgot to message us. He was exactly at the house that I thought he would have been at. His friend that they've been friends since they were like 5 years old. Like I almost drove over there and knocked on the door, but that wasn't it was a party that he went to at someone else's house. So I didn't want to be like freaking out the friend and the mom, but that was my instinct. And then, it took like 15 minutes, but I was kind of flipped out. I was just like, oh my goodness. But he's a boy and he's 18 and I was still flipped out. Okay. I didn't know where he was for like 15 minutes and I freaked out. But I didn't call the police. I would have if I'd gone over there and he wasn't at that house. I don't think I would have taken any more delay in calling. It's Celtic, lots of it here in the north of Britain. You mean lots of Stonehenge? There's more than just that? I thought Stonehenge was just like in one spot. I mean, Stonehenge itself is in one spot, right? But then there's many like it. Is that what you're referring to, GOP Nick? I don't know if I missed it, but all had drugs involved. Yes, I did say that. So thank you, though, for saying it again, because I want to hit back on that topic. So perfect. Let me highlight you. I want to hit back on that topic because I'm freaking out about the fact that the parents that were busted for drugs and drug charges, prosecuted for drug charges, represented by this criminal defendant's legal representation, Ann Taylor. So, Ann Taylor, we know, represented Maddie's stepmom and dad. I don't know if that was like both together with the same case or two different cases. I don't know. And we know that she represented Xana's mom 4 times. Okay, so that's all drugs, right? And now she's representing this guy. What if there's a big drug ring involved with law enforcement involvement, and this is how they cover, and this is how they make deals, and this is how they work it with this attorney that's been on both sides? And then they can cut deals for the people that have been in trouble with their drugs, whether that's with the distribution or addiction or whatever. This is where a lot of people have been going in the last few days, and I've been trying to maintain neutrality, and I can't. Not anymore. As of a couple hours ago, I was just like, this is just smacking me in the freaking face. It doesn't mean that it's a thing, but it certainly looks like it's a thing. It certainly looks like it could be. So, just gonna leave that hanging right there. Let me read a few more of these because thank you so much for saying that, Sherry. Blockella, I thought this minute I heard Kim talking about her daughter, MC, and her daughter inserting themselves into everything. Purpose of disrupting cases. Exactly. And it's to plant seeds of doubt, it's to muddy the water, it's to gaslight the public, it's to confuse everybody. You get so perplexed, you're just like, whatever, I need to get groceries and, take care of my own life. I can't be getting my brain all twisted up in this muddy water where nothing makes sense. Urgh. That's the purpose of that, Blockella. Tiffany Crockett says they had an issue with drugs or had friends that use drugs as well. That's also a big part of the issue. Right, Tiffany, absolutely. Absolutely. Hope my phone dinging isn't bothering you. I need to turn it off so it doesn't do that because it bothers me. And if it does do it too many more times, I can put it under the cushion or something. Nakari Johnson, also 16, out of Sacramento area. Her family is begging for help and attention. Thank you, Squirrely Burger. This is not one that I have heard of yet. Is it just as of today, or has it been going on for a while? I'm going to write down her name and look that up. Oh my goodness. It's a similar name to the girl that was that died of the fentanyl that Nate C was arrested for. Nate Kubikanganga, or however you say his name. It's a similar name. Is it the same person? No, she was 15, I think, right? Where did that name go? Nikara. This is why it's so nice that you can highlight people's comments. Johnson. Okay. And I have to go, but hopefully I'll be back before your live is over. Bye, Sifa. Thanks for coming in. Hey, sorry that I didn't say hi earlier. And yeah, I'll probably be wrapping up in another 20 minutes-ish. So we'll see if I see you later on today in this or tomorrow morning. Squirrely Burger, there was even a newscasting where they compared their child, which is African American, to Kylie's missing case and the attention difference. Okay. So it's not like brand new today. Right. And then there was the forgive me, the other young woman that went missing right around the exact same time as Kylie that AWP also searched for, and I will completely say her name incorrect if I even try, but you guys know the one I'm talking about. They searched like Avocado Lake for her. A beautiful young woman who was Latin American. So if anyone wants to type her name in, please do. I just don't want to mess it up. I've been messing up too many names lately. Um, Red hair and green eyes. Yeah, GOP Nick, you are probably talking about Trinity right there. Parents should freak out if kids aren't home if they really care anyway. Right. Right. I know. I felt like I was in a Lindsay kind of situation where, I knew that my kid was out at this party late and I was trying to stay up for him. And I told him to wake me up when he got home, but he never got home. So I probably fell asleep around midnight. He was supposed to be home, I think maybe like 12:30 or 1. And then I woke up at probably 8 and he wasn't in his bed. And I was like, what the? And then, 15 minutes later, tracked him down. He was still sleeping, of course, but phew, it scared me. It really, really scared me. I've never had a kid missing for 15 minutes, even. Just about died. Okay. My heart gets racing just thinking about it. Stonehenge is down the country on Britain, and there is also a landmark of a male, can't remember where. My daughter has red hair and green eyes, and also my son. Or the frat house under some kind of sanction for drugs. I don't know about the frat house. The sorority, the two sororities. There's 10 sororities at that university, and then the two of them, I have them written down so I don't mess them up. Let me look. Hold on. If I can find it. It was very recent. Alpha Phi and Pi Beta Phi. Those two sororities were both on probation for reckless behavior. And, the Greek system teaches the members to protect the entity. Same thing with schools, same thing with communities, same thing with businesses. It's all about protecting the entity, right? Or countries for that matter. So, my opinion, I believe that's exactly what happened in across the nation. Are you talking about like the way media selects who to focus on for victims? Or are you talking about something else, Squirrely Burger? Um, Can't they get a sniffer dog to see if there were any drugs in the place? Karen Ann, you're so freaking smart. Oh my goodness. Of course they could, but did they? I doubt it. Because they probably already knew. I'm just gonna say allegedly in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, possibly. Okay. Can't they get a sniffer dog to see if there was any drugs in the house? Yes. And did they? That's the question. Drug sniffing dogs. I think that it probably would have been noticed by news media and all of the web sleuths, right? I don't think they did. Sherry says agree with Jazz and BK drug tested at time of arrest. Good question, Pam. I think that typically they do, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That's just my belief. I'm not well grounded in that belief, but it would make sense to me that people would be drug tested when arrested. Um, I agree. You can't let the crazy in. And Pam, I'm wanting to know that answer real bad. And I got a lot more questions. Thanks. There you go, Caleb Lee. You're awesome. Jolissa Fuentes. See, I would have messed it up so bad. You would have been like, what are you talking about, Jess? Jolissa Fuentes. And it's such a beautiful name. So yes, with this Nikan Johnson, if I'm saying that name correctly, And then Julissa Fuentes, at this exact same time as Kylie Rodney, and everybody, self included, I will admit it, all about Kylie Rodney. Some of that I think is just who we identify with. Like, I identify with Kylie Rodney because I saw a lot of my own self in her when I was young, and I saw a lot of my kids in her, being that I have kids that age. So Jolissa Fuentes, oh, what a sad, awful situation. And it sounds so freaking similar. Again, you could probably make that list, right? I've been doing some diving in on the drug thing. I'll send my email to Jazz. It's been about 7 weeks now, and her name is spelled with only one K. Nakari Johnson. Excellent. Good to know. I'm going to write it down correctly. Nakari. What a cool name. I like it. 7 weeks. Ugh. Scary. Your son should have texted you at least. Oh, yeah, I know. Don't worry. I beat him real good. Mom, I meant to text you. He's a senior, so he's got that whole senioritis thing. It was the first time he's ever done anything like that, and hopefully the last. And he was fine. He was safe. So that's, as good as it gets, right? Just scared me to pieces. I was, I thought everything would be okay, but I thought, what if, what if, what if? So I was very relieved. Maddie and Kaylee to couple with Ethan and Xana, right? 1-1. Maddie and Kaylee, 2-2 couple, Ethan and Xana. Karen Ann, I like what you're saying, although I'm not 100% sure what you're saying, but I like numerology, and the 1-1 and the 2-2, we all know that that's the address of the house. The 1-1 being single, single, and 2-2 being double, double. Because then you also have the pair of the survivors. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to. I don't really know what you mean exactly, but I think I can read different things into it to make it make sense to me. And if you care to elaborate, please do. Dilly, I have so many questions as well. Like, wouldn't BK's DNA be under the victim's nails? It's a good question. It's weird and evil. Rona Jane says, even then, it's still shady. And Rona Jane, I'm not sure precisely what you're referring to. There's a lot of shadiness. And then only one or two people are held accountable. Meanwhile, the rest of these criminals continue on with their corruption. That's how it usually goes, Squirrely Burger. In the real world, that's almost always how it goes. If you have a big ring, that means there's more than one person, obviously. And the rings are usually 10, 20 or more. You got your top banana, you got your next in charge. It's like a military order. And yeah, they kind of decide who's going to take the fall, who they sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb. And rarely do others get held accountable. So it's not a just system to have one person go down for crimes that many people are guilty of committing. So it's especially not a just system when nobody goes down and it's not investigated and it appears to be criminal and it gets just swept under the rug. I feel like that's what happened with Kylie Rodney, and I feel like that's what happened with Trinity Backus. I feel very, very strongly that that's extremely highly likely what happened with both of those cases, and I'm not afraid to say it. Just not. Okay. And then with this case, with the Idaho 4, they're saying, well, obviously we know somebody's held accountable because they certainly didn't do that to themselves. Although if they could have spun it that way, they might have tried. I'm not even kidding. I know it's horrible, but it's you just never know. Um, but they're trying to put it all on one person when it's unlikely. It's very unlikely. Um, Caleb Lee says hi and WTF. King Street, Queen Street, Two Jacks, etc. I know. Bethany, and then were you here on one of my lives in the last couple of days? Allegedly, Xana's last comment on TikTok was Queen. Is that accurate, you guys? Is that alleged or is that confirmed? I mean, that is just bizarre, is it not? And I don't know what the TikTok was that she was commenting that to it, or somebody else grabbed her phone, like maybe the perp, and made that comment. I don't know. It's very curious to me. As far as the trafficking and cop involvement, I believe it's nationwide police trafficking problem, not just drugs. Um, I agree to some extent, Squirrely Burger. I definitely think it's nationwide. I don't think it's in every department, but I could just be naive to that. I'd like to think that I'm not. I mean, I do think that I'm naive about a lot. I think that I am very not naive and naive simultaneously. The ambiguity, it's just that's I think both are true for myself. I can say that. In my opinion, I'm very naive. And in my opinion, I'm also very aware of things that many people are not aware of. Um, I don't know what Karen Ann says, I don't know what you really feel. Is he the killer or more involved? Well, Karen Ann, we all know that he's presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Yes, got to do that. Um, I want to say he looks so guilty. I got extremely suspicious the day that they released the 97-page document. What was that? 2 weeks ago? And I literally said to myself, they have too much evidence on him. They have so much evidence on him that it's absurd. And it made me think, why are they piling the evidence so high at this early point in time? You save that evidence for the trial. And that was when I started getting suspicious. I thought, why are they trying to put the nails in his coffin in the public arena at this early juncture? Why are they trying to get people to just have tunnel vision on this one guy? That's what made me suspicious, you guys. So from that point on, I've really wondered, and I just don't know. I don't know if he's the guilty party. I don't know if he's part of a guilty party with more in it. I do not know. I'm not going to pretend to know. But so to answer your question, because I do like to try to answer questions rather than tiptoe around them, and GOP answers it with, he is the killer but didn't work alone. Um, and Karen Ann said, I mean, I don't know what you really feel. Is he the killer or more involved? And so I don't know how the just plugs into that. But anyway, I like GOP's answer, so I'm going to highlight that one. My honest opinion is that GOP could very well be accurate, but I don't know. I do not know. So I'm really suspicious. I'm suspicious of him. I'm suspicious of others. I'm very suspicious. I mean, we have 4 lives destroyed and many, many, many more lives destroyed than the 4 that were physically destroyed and ended. We've got families that are going to be devastated for generations to come. It's disgusting. It's so heartbreaking. Okay, let's see. I'm watching on my TV and it was behind. I was talking about something. I was replying to something you said earlier. It's about the cases that get sensationalized. Thank you, Rana Jane. Yeah, That was what I thought you might have been referring to. Yeah, the cases that get sensationalized, it is the beautiful people that get a lot of airtime because, you know, the because there is that entertainment quality to it. When you've got like your news and entertainment shows like Inside Edition, Entertainment Tonight, 48 Hours in 2020 and Dateline, those are considered news entertainment shows in my understanding, right? And news is considered news, but it's also considered entertainment in a sense. Like the newspaper is not considered entertainment, but the actual news on television is, I believe. So yeah, it's, they'd much rather be plastering a beautiful face all around than not a beautiful face all around. So it's very unfortunate because beauty is, you know, that's a very, very shallow, superficial crap definition of beauty. Um, Caleb, no judgments here. Delia wasn't number one dad by no means, but I'm glad your son or daughter is safe. Um, he could not under 10 minutes to, I'm trying 4 people to see, DM and leave. Karen Ann, I 100% agree with what you just said there, even though it's like broken up sentences. That's fine. I know it's rough typing. He just could not under 10 minutes to, I'm 4 people, then see, DM and leave. Again, what you said doesn't make sense. I'm being a little lighthearted there, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, I know what you're trying to say, and it is absolutely 100% accurate in my humble opinion. He just could not, in under 10 minutes, 4 people, and then see Dylan and then leave. I agree. I 100% agree. I don't buy it. What did Dylan post on TikTok around 3:30, but then delete on murder night? Well, GOP Nick, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I do know that at about 3:30 Ohio time, so it would have been like 12:30 her time. She put a photograph of her and I think Kaylee she posted on her social media. I don't know if it was on TikTok or something else. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to because people were like, "Oh my god, she posted it at 3:30 a.m." and it was like, "No, she posted it at 3:30 a.m. East Coast time. She posted it 12:30 um Idaho time." So, and I believe that was a picture of her and Kaylee, if I'm remembering accurately. Rona Jane says, "Sorry, I forgot to check. See, I have to comment from my phone, but I like watching my TV and I was on my phone and got here a little late, but I knew you were on." Thanks, Rona Jane. Yes, he's 25, having his friends go up, climb mountains, words really dark and stuff freaks me out. Some of the stuff he does, but I'm glad what the stuff he doesn't do. Oh, you're talking about your kid, Dilly? Um, Caleb Lee, praying for your son, better than mine, Dilly. And yes, males are on the market 2023, just saying. Are you talking about like human trafficking market, Caleb Lee? Because yeah, people don't think that men or boys are going to get victimized as much as women do. And it's less and less true. Historically, women have been victimized more. Men have always been victimized too, but it's less talked about. But it's more in, the social consciousness now. And there is more of a market for it, if that's what you're talking about, Caleb. It's pretty creepy. Yes. Um, I've started following some psychic YouTubers for some validation. Strongly believe he wasn't alone. There is a red haired person involved, according to 2 different readings, JD Brett, in my humble opinion. Very interesting, Mrs. Amir Zaza. I am open to people's intuition or psychic or whatever you want to call it. I try to just not do that with YouTube. Um, However, I do watch like the 1111 Tarot Mama D. I love her channel. I also really enjoy Candace Starr. I think there's a couple others, but those are really the only two. No, there was one that I just found that I don't think I can remember her name. Her last name was Felix. Um, so I'll look her up and share that with you guys, maybe in the notes in the comments or something. Anyway, I don't know if JD or Brett was involved, but it sounds entirely possible, and we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, in the earlier chat today, there was that discussion about the person in the photograph looking like Brett. One of the people, one of the commenters was saying, and it really got me to thinking, like, what if they were both there? What if that was part of the plan to have JD be there and Brett again to like throw people off, you know? Like, so you don't know, especially if they were dressed the same. That's what I was thinking was, wouldn't that be weird if they were dressed the same? Because we all know that that Jack D and Jack S dressed extremely similar with the hoodie thing. But again, they're the same age and they go to college, and maybe that's how most guys dress there, right? So she deleted something, but don't know what. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know if that was ever publicized or if they're, you know, if they found that for the investigation, but they were not making it public. That's wild. And was it 3:30 a.m. her time? GOP Nick, can you answer me that? If she posted something at 3:30 a.m., that would be, you know, getting closer to the alleged time of the incidents that they think they have pinned down between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Or, you know, I find it weird with the food delivery with the DoorDash that they say around 4, because you know that the person doing the delivery is going to have records of it, and you also know that people's Ring doorbell cam things are going to have precision timing of it. So why do they say around 4, you guys? Another red flag. Why don't they give a specific time that they delivered the food? And I'm just jumping right here. Maybe because it was delivered at I don't know, let's say 4:15. let's say let's say it was delivered at 4:15, and then he's seen getting back into his car at 4:20. You see where I'm going with that? Like, why aren't they saying what time that food delivery DoorDash happened? They just say around 4. Okay, did I miss something that I need to catch? Hey, what's the obsession? What's up, girlfriend? I'm just getting ready to wrap up here, honey. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. You are just killing it. I love the one you put up yesterday. You guys, What's the Obsession did the most beautiful, like, tribute of just amazing photographs of the Idaho 4 case just yesterday. She just does fantastic work. Watching Reverend Donna, and she was going on about the red-haired guy who buried the knife. Interesting. Interesting. Yes, I view Mama D and Candace Starr also. And yes, WTO, What's the Obsession? Kelly, would you drop your link real quick, please, just in case anybody wants to check it out that hasn't yet? I mean, I'm always talking you up, so I would imagine that everyone knows your channel. But just in case, if you're able to drop the link, and I'm going to get ready to sign off and say goodbye, you guys. Look at that. Okay, I got to read these. He didn't do it alone, and them kids had different wounds, so doesn't mean others, does that mean other stuff used? I think that's a very valid question, that it sounds like it could have been a different instrument. Yeah, it's around the murder time. Why it's so sketchy. GOP Nick, thank you. Oh no, Kelly says, I had to take a nap after our phone conversation the other day. I'm having flashbacks. Dilly, and let's see, timeline is going to change again for sure. Blockella says that's an interesting one. Oh, I'm so glad I caught that. I'm going to try to catch up and then sign off, you guys. And then I'll check my notes later and pick it up here tomorrow morning when we meet up again. I really dig this whole like morning thing and then afternoon thing. I hope it works for you guys. It really helps me just like keep my pedal on the metal, is what I feel like. It's just making me work really hard, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And not too hard. Don't worry. I'll take a break if and when I need to. Candace Star, Fancy's Dragon. Trust me, when you had a family member murdered, you don't forget about that, or a very, very long time ago. Right. Dilly Owens. That was like 50 years ago, but it probably seems like yesterday, right? I mean, I don't know how old you were when that happened, but unbelievable. I'm so sorry that your family experienced that. We don't even know who received the DoorDash food. Could have been Dylan. GOP Nick, you were just right on target. It's a really good point. They don't say that Xana came to the door. For all we know, it was the visitor, the unwelcome visitor. I mean, honestly, we don't know. Actually, DoorDash is just left on the front door, to my understanding, right? I've never done it. They just leave the bag right at your front door. That's why it's called DoorDash. So yeah, who brought it in? Very interesting. Um, all right, here is my channel link. Thanks, Justice. There you go, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I love you guys so much. And don't forget to drink your water, eat your protein, your fruits, your veggies, get your exercise, stretch, get fresh air, get sunshine, relax, be kind, demand kindness from everyone around you, even if you have to be a bitch about it, right? Okay. I always wonder about that. Who received the DoorDash delivery, or who picked it up rather from the door? All right, you guys, peace out. I will see you tomorrow morning around 8:30. Thank you so much for joining me. You are the best, and sending you love, sending you light. See you then.